Good morning and welcome to Rising. We've got another great show for you today. It is Wednesday morning and Marianne Williamson is with me once again. Hello, Marianne.
Hello, Robbie. Well, the chaos of the Trump administration continues unabated. This time the president has begun a global trade war, so we'll have a lot to talk about today. To begin with, what's on your radar, Robbie?
We will have a lot to talk about today. Let's get right to it. I say, leave Thomas Massie alone. That's my message to President Donald Trump, who unfortunately has picked a fight with the deservedly popular congressman from Kentucky. Trump tore into Massie on Truth Social on Tuesday, writing, "Now and virtually on every other vote, he's a very simple no. Thomas Massie is a grandstander, and the great people of Kentucky are going to be watching a very interesting primary in the not-too-distant future." Now, that's twice this week that Trump has threatened to primary Massie. Why? Because the congressman is a holdout on the continuing resolution. Actually, he voted against it just yesterday. That would have reauthorized federal spending at current levels in order to avoid a government shutdown. That happened. That vote took place yesterday. Thomas Massie, a lone no vote on the GOP side. His reasoning is very simple. Now is the time for Republicans to do what they have promised to do for years and to actually vote to reduce government spending and eliminate needless government programs. On strategic grounds, he's absolutely correct. Republicans love to promise that, of course, they're going to cut the government in the future, but first they have to continue recklessly spending until they win another election. That's what their voters are forced to put up with. Vague assurances that the tough, serious decision to actually rein in the federal government, that's coming at some indeterminate point in the future after the GOP has won sufficient political power. Well, look, I've got news for the GOP. The situation right now is as good as it's ever going to get. Usually the party that controls the White House loses seats in the midterms. And if the Republicans lose basically any seats at all, control of the House will flip back to the Democrats. The Senate's fairly safe. The White House itself is a toss-up. The presidency has now gone back and forth between Republicans and Democrats in the last 3 cycles. So that's a long way of saying the GOP's current trifecta might not last anyway and is more than sufficient to proceed with an actual bill that reins in spending. Could the GOP suffer politically if cuts are made? Well, yeah, perhaps. But they could also suffer politically if they don't deliver on their promises. I would remind them that the public supports the elimination of waste, fraud, and abuse and is positively disposed toward what DOGE is doing. But DOGE and Elon can't do it all. Congress must act. To his credit, Thomas Massie understands that. So does Senator Rand Paul, who has signaled he's in the same camp as Massie. We're going to be interviewing him later today on Rising. Looking forward to that. They are principled. They want to actually do what so many other people in their party only talk about doing. And for this, Trump wants to primary Massie? I mean, good luck with that. The man is very popular in his district. He's shrugged off previous challenges. He's not afraid to take on mainstream orthodoxies, like when he criticized endless support for Israel and called for non-intervention in the Gaza conflict. That earned him opposition from AIPAC, but it did not have any effect on his reelection. That's because Massie isn't just another rhino, Republican in name only, or some anti-Trump establishment type like Liz Cheney. He's a libertarian-inclined America First conservative, and he means it. And look, if other Republicans really, really disagree with his stance on the CR, okay, fine. It's their prerogative. But Trump going out of his way to attack Massie is just unnecessary. It's very extra in the extreme. It's an attack on someone who actually wants to enact the America First agenda. As the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh put it, you can disagree with Massie about the CR, that's fine, but the idea that he needs to be ousted from Congress is just asinine. You will not find very many elected Republicans who have more consistently gotten most issues right over the past 5 years. Go ahead. Try to come up with a list. Give me 10 Republicans with a better track record. Anyone supporting the call for Massie to be primaried should be able to list at least 10 elected Republicans who have a better voting record. Go ahead then. Let's see it. Or take it from former Congressman Ron Paul, someone of a similar mindset.
He states his position by the way he votes. Everybody knows it, and most of them respect him for it. And to gang up on him and say, well, we got to get rid of him because he's helping the Democrat, it's preposterous. It's so sad to see that.
Now, Trump has some fairly decent political instincts, but he's getting this one wrong. Massie understands what the MAGA base wants. unlike so many Republicans who whine about reckless government spending when they're out of power and then won't lift a finger to stop it when they actually have power, Massie means business. As he himself put it, POTUS is spending his day attacking me in Canada. The difference is Canada will eventually cave. And as I said, Marianne, we're going to be interviewing Senator Rand Paul a little bit later, who's of a similar disposition. Look, you and I may have different views on, what level of government spending is appropriate, but surely you must concede that Republicans who just talk, when they have no ability to actually do anything, oh yeah, we're going to rein in government, we're going to balance the budget, we're going to do all these things. Okay, now they have the ability to do it, and it's not even on their radar. It's not even a possibility that they would seriously do it now. They're like, no, we got to win another election, then we'll do it. Who's fooled by this?
I'm interested in things that are far more fundamental than that, and those have to do with the pillars of our freedom. And that pillar, in this case, is the co-equal branches of government. So I'm absolutely thrilled to see that there are now 2 Congress people, 2 Republicans who are willing to stand up to this president. And I would think that you and any American would be upset to see the president so apoplectic that anyone would dare disagree with him. The idea that the president himself has clearly no respect for the co-equal branch, which is the U.S. Congress. So for that reason alone, sure, if Massie wants to stand up to the president, good for him. And I say the same thing about Rand Paul. Not that I agree with their position specifically, that's not the point. The fact that they know that, hey, I'm part of a co-equal branch of government and you back off.
The rest of the Republican congressional delegation, they want to give up their ability to fight, to battle the president at all. They're voting to give up their power to control tariffs at all. They don't want to govern. This is so frustrating.
You
to
don't
me.
have to tell us
And
that.
it's true on both. It's true to some degree on both sides. The members of Congress increasingly just they want to be TV stars. They just want to be on cable news talking. They don't want to do anything. That whatever the president wants to do, obviously Democrats in opposition in Congress want to, I guess a fight. They're not really doing anything. But if the president is a Democrat, then congressional Democrats, they're not a co-equal branch. It's whatever the president says, and vice versa. Congress, even though our founders, and you like to talk about the strength of our founding documents and the vision the creators of this country had, and I so appreciate that and so agree with that, they would be falling down, horrified by how Congress, the main branch in their view of legislating, of rulemaking, of governing, doesn't want to govern.
Well, I certainly agree that the founders are rolling over in their graves about Congress, but I also believe that the founders are rolling over in their graves about this president. But, there have also been times when there were Democratic presidents, and I felt that the Democrats in Congress allowed him far too much power, definitely with some of these wars that we've been fighting over the last
Congress declares the wars. What happened to that?
Well, what happened to that? You're absolutely correct. So we are seeing things from I won't say your president because I think that's terrible, our president at this point. This is behavior that is absolutely disrespectful towards the way our system is supposed to work. But once again, this is how Trump has been acting on a lot of things. So he's attacking now a Republican congressman. He's also attacking Canada. He's starting a global trade war. This man is out of control. He's our own Mad King George. And I don't think the American people are very happy about it.
Well, I'm happy with a lot of the things that he's doing, but I am not happy with the trade war taking place, and neither is the stock market or the economy. Nobody's quite happy about that, and as I've said before, I really do worry about the rest of the Trump agenda coming undone as he makes these tariff moves that even a lot of MAGA people are not thrilled about. But we're going to talk more about Canada specifically when I hear what's in your memo, Marianne. That's coming up next, and then Rand Paul interview a little bit later. Stay tuned.